Ladies and gentlemen, you can see on your screen it is Fear as the blue side in the bottom left-hand corner, and the top right is going to be Meat Playground. Are we likely to see a level 1 team fight, and who would really want it?
I mean, right now, everyone's defensive so far. You're seeing Jax way up in the top hand of the map. You're seeing, a couple of wards going down. A little bit of aggression here from McSmithy, but really, they're not going for almost anything at all. You just see everyone, but, he throws the undertow down. He's checking for champions. But until you see Zuna run down from the top lane, I can't expect to see Fear actually invade. And you're definitely seeing Meat Playground just sit there on that turret as though they don't want to make any moves either.
Well, Muffin Cutie just snuck past, put the ward down, so they're going to get a good vision of the junglers or the leash towards that blue. Pobelter will be spotted, and you can see Mandatory Cloud making sure he keeps him in perfect vision. As it is, though, we are seeing the bottom laners. And I can call them, well, I could call them the duo lane. I think we need to start calling that, because they're not always the bottom laners, but they are going to the bottom lane regardless. So it is going to be Muffin Cutie and Afremu on catching down the bottom lane, actually. He's just poking back and forward. Lemon God having a little look towards him. Lemon Sludge coming down. He has picked up the traps to start with, though, so he's not going to get any piltovers poking in towards those bushes. But you can see put that push down. So NK actually starting out on the race, Zuna starting out on the Wolves. Neither of them having a leash there. Smithy actually is the jungler. Now it looks like they may go for the invade. So it is actually Jax taking away his own Wolves. And you can see Fear, but they're all passing that ward.
Yeah, they've been spotted here, but this is a nice move from Fear. They put the ward down near the Golem Brush to check to see if they're going for it. They weren't. They're actually going to move everyone together. It's going to be a 4-on-4 right here. No, it's going to be a 5-on-4. Jax is nowhere around, and here comes Fear, about to get caught out. A little bit of damage on both sides.
They're coming straight around. They've actually all stood on a ward. They have perfect vision of them. So Meat Playground want to fight this one. They catch a good glitch lance on towards Muffin Cutie. The damage going on towards Mandatory Cloud, but the Dark Binding does stop that straight away. Zuna in the meantime, Zuna taking the blue buff.
That is actually a huge deal. He's doing it without teleports. He's going to be a bit low or lose a bit of time coming back to the lane. But they actually completely baited Meat Playground into really not the best opening for themselves. They pulled everyone down. Jax is still going to get back to lane here. Zuna, that was... I mean, I was so afraid of that being a bad 4-on-5. I mean, they were completely ward covered, but it worked perfectly for Fear. They came out ahead on this one.
And some heavy work there from Muffin Cutie helping out Smithy in the jungle. So Smithy starting out in the red. How does that really going to affect? I mean, he's going to give Zuna a good chance. He's going to be getting the leap strikes, empowered strikes on towards X-Hazard a little bit more, but it's also going to counteract his own jungle because it's his own jungle buff he took away.
Well, thankfully, Olaf is not super Golem buff reliant. It does help quite a bit getting more undertows down, but he's still going to be clearing pretty well overall. He can rely on auto attacks, and he'll generally be okay. Now, for Zuna, the difficult thing is you'd normally consider Malphite a counter pick to Jax because he's going to get that shield back up, he'll slow your attack speed. But with Zuna having so much mana and so low cooldowns, he can constantly, just over and over and over, press on Hazard, break the shield, and deal some meaningful damage, and start to break him down. The blue buff Jax, especially with the +1 level, lets him constantly push him down and actually break that lane apart.
And we're already seeing, in terms of CS, that top lane, 19-4 already, absolutely dominating that top lane. Hazard can't get close to the CS. As soon as he does come in, he's trying to use those shards to get those last hits, trying to burn out everything he can. I'm expecting NK to maybe actually go up towards that top lane, try and help out there. He has just picked up his second buff, so he's got double buffed at the moment. He's on Lee Sin. Lee Sin being the aggressive jungler. You expect him to go for it. It looks like he's having to back off right now. Bottom lane, being pushed pretty heavily up on that turret. What are we expecting in between these bottom lane?
So you basically got a situation where Fear has to sit pretty far back against Light Sludge, not Katarina, but Caitlyn. Both Kate and Lulu are great long-range poke champions, so Fear, I mean, they're going to be in the back here just a little bit. The good thing for them, though, is that they can play, they can kind of turn fights around, though. They land a Dark Binding, and Twitch will just output way more damage per second than Caitlyn will, but they've got to watch out for the poke.
So Smithy took a visit to that top lane, has warded out the river, so giving good clearance there. And actually, Fear, I did notice they backed off, so they've gone back to pick up the golems already. So Smithy realizing, saying, yeah, you can have all that. I'm just going to smite out the Wraith and really invading. So Fear have full control already early on. We're only 5 minutes in. They seem to be all over it in the middle lane there. They're going towards Pobelter. You can see the axe lands to land. Pobelter could well be first blood, but no. NK manages to get in there. They can turn this around. Smithy taking down very low. First blood for NK, very nicely done. Pobelter reacting quickly to that one. Meanwhile, down the bottom, Dark Binding towards Lemon God is not going to be enough.
Yeah, completely. You can just see that the threat from Caitlyn there, Efremu could not follow up on the Dark Binding. Even though they landed it, they realized that Caitlyn's going to put out too much damage. You saw the build-over Peacemaker leading his attack range. He had to turn around immediately. And again, that long-range team, it's very hard here for Fear to deal with the Playground's bottom lane.
So that's how, look how things, well, there it is, a complete turnaround. They just saw Smithy do the exact same thing. A drive-by effectively from Lee Sin NK there. He's making his visit down towards the bottom. There is no wards. There is nothing in the bush. They have no vision. There's the ward from NK putting in towards that tri-bush so they can keep out. And Light Sludge and Lemon God, I think, feel they can push this lane. They're going to shove it. If they're putting that ward in that tri-bush, they want to shove this lane pretty hard.
Yeah, they just cooled him down. I'm surprised they didn't go quite for a turret dive, but I guess they don't really need to overall. This lane, I think, is going to go pretty well for Meat Playground in general. Hazard getting a little bit of time to come back into his lane as Zuna goes, doesn't go to buy. You know, let him catch up in minion. The golem buff is down. You know, I'm surprised that Jax isn't ahead farther here, but I think in general, though, Zuna not getting pushed out lets him farm and get to late game status, and that's all he really wants.
Yeah, so immediately Smithy getting spotted by that ward. Zuna, now that he hasn't got that blue buff, can't trade so well with Hazard in that top lane. And already Hazard regaining all that CS, but Zuna's got a big wave pushed on that turret. He should be able to pick up a chunk of this one. We are just seeing the first back there by Diana, picking up double Doran's rings in that mid lane, so having a little bit of health and mana regen. He is up against, you know, a Lee Sin in the jungle. It's a dangerous thing to get caught. We've just seen how quickly he can counter there, come back, shields up Pobelter, and turns the damage on them. So we expect them to play a little bit safe here. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a loser bracket. It is a best of 3. There's a lot of games to play today. In fact, there's 4 sets of best of 3s on the main stage. It's going to be a long day.
Oh, it's going to be great overall. I'm really looking forward to the games today right here. Actually, ManCloud's got to be careful because he's got a Lee Sin waiting on the side. He's going to move in, but here comes Lee Sin and Rise. The damage coming out the slow there as well. ManCloud trying to run away to the turret. One more hit. That's a pickup there. It's Smithy trying to counteract that.
Smithy tries to come in, does land the act on NK, but the tower hits were not enough to take him down, and again he backs away pretty safe there. So Muffin Cutie have to move down this bottom lane. It is very much dead heat. 51 for 51 CS, keeping it even. Even the supports are pretty much even. Top lane, still big advantage. Jax had just gone back to buy, picked himself up a whole bunch of items, building towards the Mercury Treads, got himself Lifesteal and the Doran's Blade as well. So 54 to 39 in that top lane. Hazard just going back, getting a Philo Stone.
Yeah, these are the stats that both these players want. Jax, he can't really rely on gold per 10 generation. He needs to be a good fighter at all times because he needs to accelerate and get stats and lifesteal and get his health back up. Whereas Malphite, he actually just wants regeneration. If he takes any kind of cursory damage through that shield, he'll get his health back up. He wants to just spam seismic shards and screw with Jax. It makes a lot of sense there.
So blue buff being picked up here. Mandatory Cloud coming round to take that one. Just catches on this, doesn't quite got the damage. Jax returns back to lane. So Zuna making sure his lane's actually shoved against him. So he's quite happy to be fighting on the turret now and picking up that farm as Hazard does return to there. Meanwhile, down this bottom lane, still nobody gone back. And really, if I'm looking close, I think only 1 potion used between the 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's overall, you know, a lane where they're sitting far enough back that no one's taking any major damage. They're both playing defensively enough because they know counterattacks are super lethal here. If anyone gets caught, the amount of damage available is gigantic.
So blue buff being picked up by Pobelter. That's going to transfer across. He's picked up Tear of the Goddess already, and he's picked up a Negatron Cloak. So that was a clever move from him. Immediately, that's negating anything Mandatory Cloud could do to him.
Yeah, that was really, really fortunate. Getting those early ganks, that early pressure from Lee Sin, the kill and assist picked up. I mean, that's the only reason he has a Negatron Cloak right now. That's just so crucial now because he's not going to be afraid of Diana anymore. The double Doran's Ring, you know, it's a normal build for Diana because it gives you enough mana regeneration and ability power that you can play aggressively constantly. You saw that last kill that Lee Sin got. Diana jumped in, did good damage to Rise, but again, the gank's turning it around, and now he has enough magic resist, he's not going to fall over.
So we just saw again the bottom lane of Fear taking away the golems. This is obviously taking away from Smithy as much as he can. Smithy, he is still 1 level behind on NK. Obviously there's a kill and assist in there, that's a bit of a difference, but you know, how's that going to affect him, the fact that they constantly do take away that golems? Because that's a lot of experience.
It's going to start hurting him because Diana soon is also going to take away the Wraiths very, very often. But realistically, a lot of the way that these players play is you get the early gold generation. You see Smithy has a Heart of Gold. He's got the makings of a Philosopher's Stone. He's able to take his own wolves, sometimes his own Wraiths. He's trying to counter jungle the Wraiths as well. So he's got decent gold income, and he's going to rely on getting gold via ganks.
Yeah, and Smithy's sneaking in towards that bush, but the problem is Lee Sin is nearby, so expect him to travel straight up there, and Hazard not being baited by this one, not working straight into it. And he is going to back away. And immediately Smithy realizes he's wasting his time and has to back away from that. Mandatory Cloud picking up the race as Smithy was busy in that top lane. How's the middle lane working out for them? Pobelter currently leading in terms of CS. He has managed to get the kill as well. in terms of gold. You can see he's actually nearly 1,000 gold ahead there. So 800 overall. Mandatory Cloud having a burst on towards Pobelta, but immediately getting a burst back in his face. And those Qs landing pretty hard.
Yeah, at this point, Golem buff Rise is really able to put out so much damage against the opposition here. And the thing is, like, this minion kill lead isn't even from like him out-laning his opponent per se. It's Diana's been out of that lane from that death, and that's really all that it took to get Rise ahead here. But now that he is ahead, he's got so much mana. It's really easy. There's a gank up top lane.
Unstoppable force on towards Zuna, and immediately NK comes back in. Hazard back in towards the bush, jukes it round, and NK picks up another kill there. Very nicely played there. They knew he was there, though. I don't understand why they went into that. We just saw him come straight down and put the ward on top of Mandatory Cloud's face.
It's just unfortunate, but you know, they're going to try to make something out of this one. Meat Playground really off to a wonderful start here. 1,000 gold, 3 kills, and this is going to be a lot of easy turret pressure.
A lot of pressure already. Smithy's had to get up there and try and defend it. There's a lot of tower type potential there. The Unstoppable Force has already been used, and Hazard is pretty low, so Smithy's just going to farm out this wave, take himself a lane tax. Meanwhile, the lanes continue. And the battle down that bottom lane is very much even still. As you can see, 89 or 90 to 87 CS. The ward's back and forward, just keeping the poke. They've both got each other's bush warded. No real aggression coming out. Meanwhile, the mid lane, Mandatory Cloud's doing it. He's having to do some serious work to keep up with Pobelta. Pobelta's having a farming mission here.
Oh, it's very easy for Rise to kind of wave clear constantly when you have Golem buff. You pop the ultimate, and you kind of spam out a full wave very easily. And by casting so many spells, the cooldown comes back up, and he wants to keep Diana pushed to her turret, because normally Diana will roam a whole heck of a lot and try to pick up kills across the map. And Boa's doing a great job at completely stopping that possibility. He's keeping him stuck at his turret, and ManCloud is not able to move anywhere, and it's something that Fear relies on a little bit.
So top lane, let's see how that was working out. Zuna versus Hazard. You can see Zuna actually is ahead in CS, which overall is actually danger for Meat Playground. You know, the fact that he has died once, yeah, great, okay, that's turned in their favor, but has got the advantage. We are seeing NK coming down, doesn't quite land the Q on towards Aframu there, and again, just backs away from that one. I didn't see whether he was stealthed, actually. I think he was just completely missed it.
Yeah, he just missed it.
Which is not an easy shot to make all the time. Did use a ward up to get down there, but with that Wriggles on, we are seeing Zuna going aggressive again on Hazard. This time Smithy in towards the tri-bush. Meanwhile, the mid, I can also see NK is lingering. So which way is going to happen first? Diana, it seems to be the target. Oh, both lanes are actually going to be the targets. Hazard's going in towards it. Now Hazard's using his upper force to get away from it. Meanwhile, in the mid, they also escaped it. So both lanes managing to avoid the danger. Light Sludge with a lot of damage on it from Aframu, though. So it was the bottom lane, the damage coming out. We are seeing Lee Sin going towards the top, but there's a tri-bush ward there, so he's just passed through it. They are going to be aware, and they will back away. Smithy's sticking around here, though. If they're not careful, they didn't realize whether he think he's gone back. Zuna's just going to try and bait them out here, maybe. NK could fall for this one. The wave clearance is coming in. Hazard's very low. They could go for a 2v1. They will go for a 2v1. The counter-strike's going to come in. Does manage to get the lead strike. Gets the counter-strike down. Is it enough to finish off Hazard, though? NK's already giving up on him here, and Hazard surely going to go down. Can they turn enough damage around, though? Yes, they can. Zuna does take him down. NK is still sticking around in that top lane. Meanwhile, the mid laners just back and forth. They're going to both avoid the damage.
And Pobelta really tried to come into that top lane and chase back down. And props to Mandatory Cloud for immediately following him up there. You saw that even with a big minion wave available, he said, you're coming top lane, I will follow you out there and make sure you don't get free damage on my team. Gotta hand that to all mid players. Please follow your opponent out when he leaves the lane and comes to gank your teammates.
Yeah, don't just let him just trail on past there. It's something we do see quite a lot of, actually. So let's have a look across the board. How are things working out? The two AD carries down that bottom lane. They've both been back to bike. You can see Berserker Greaves on both of them. One's gone with Dawn Braze and Vampiric Scepter, so you can see Aframu with a slight advantage in terms of farm at the moment.
Yeah, and that's been them taking the golems over and over and over the entire game. This is at least their 5th set by this point. And I'm surprised that they are ahead, though, even with the golems, because I would have really pegged Caitlyn and Lulu as an advantageous lane here to deal damage. Aframu stealth up, going to gank mid.
They're going straight in there. Does manage to get the slowdown. Uses his ulti, but it's not going to land. And he could actually turn this into a bit of a tower push. He has got that ulti up still. He's just going to do a hell of a lot of damage down towards that. So we can see Hazard coming around. Hasn't got Unstoppable Force available, just merely a presence to force him away. But while this is happening down that bottom turret, they are just beating the heck out of it. Down to half hit points already. Lemon Light Sludge doing some work. This may be gone before they return.
Yeah, I think Fear right there expected their gank up to the top, to the mid lane to work, because, I mean, 5 times in a row, they went back and picked up golems and then came back to lane. This time they picked up golems and ganked mid with a stealth champion of all things, but it still got sniffed out. Hazard came down and stopped it. They expected to trade turrets there.
You can see Muffin Cutie landing the dart binding towards Light Sludge, but NK is there, Smithy's there as well to cover off, and they're both just going to back off. So first turret down, it is Meat Playground with the lead in terms of gold as well. Because of that, they have the kills as well, 3-1. Pobelta doing some good work on this mid turret as well. They're really starting to push it out here. You can see the target on him, but it's not going to be enough. Red buff is going to be picked up by Smithy. How is this top lane working out? Still CS advantage for Zuna versus Hazard, but it's still very much countering each other.
I mean, it's getting worse and worse for Jax, actually. This is probably like the lowest point for Jax possible, because now you've got a lot of points in that Malphite ground slam, a lot of attack speed slow, and that's the one stat that like Zuna's going to completely scale off of throughout this game. You know, as he gets more items, gets a Trinity Force, things like that, he'll be able to burst with other sources of damage, but right now he's all auto attacks.
He's all auto attacks, tries to go for him, and Zuna's not going to get baited. Zuna's just going to put that Tri-Bush ward down. Smithy heading up north as well. We'll keep our eye on that one. We are seeing Muffin Cutie might get caught out here because he's heading towards Dragon. We can see NK in there just starting off the Dragon. So Meat Playground already getting in there, keeping S Hazard out of the game. So keeping him up the top there, but they realize that Zuna and Smithy are both at the top, so there's no one anywhere close to even get the smite on this one. Pobelta doing a good job of keeping Muffin Cutie away from it. Is going to be the first Dragon for Meat Playground. Smithy continuing to trade on towards Hazard. Has a dangerous, dangerous game. He does use the stop and force to get away from it. The ulti used by Mandatory Cloud hadn't landed, so that's his ulti burned. Is it going to be enough to finish him off? No. He's going to back away. The rest of Meat Playground come up and defend it, and they have to back away. Great work from Meat Playground so far.
Yeah, Hazard, I mean, that's a lot of that having such a great lane so far. He's already got a Chain Vest and a Ninja Tabi on top of those 2 gold pretends. So he was just tanking out Smithy the entire time there. And that just kind of shows, like, you know, laning well contributes so much to some of these mid-game fights where that would have been a free kill if he hadn't had a good time in his lane so far. But he did, so he tanked it out. He's fine, he's got now most of a Sunfire Cape as well.
Afro needs to be worryful here. Yeah, he's going to back away quickly. As I say, he's trying to put some work on towards that turret. The top turret has been traded as well. They did manage to pick that one up, but it's still 2-1 in terms of turrets because that mid went down. Trying to pick up that bottom turret, not working for them though. Immediately, Meat Playground with the advantages here. Zuna continuing to push that top lane though. He's got to be careful because you can see NK already heading up to the top there, as is Pobelta, trying to head him off, but he's going to make a hot-footed straight past and should be able to back out in time. NK is going to pass through that ward. Oracle will spot it and he'll clear it out. Pobelta also being forced in that mid lane. So it is action across the board. Smithy spotted by that ward. At the moment, Fear just being out-warded. They can't seem to pull anything. No aggression. Any aggression they try is spotted so early.
And it's so difficult for them. I mean, just in general, you're seeing kind of a low-kill game where none of the moves that go in are really working all that well. You know, when Fear goes in on X Hazard, you can Unstoppable Force out and kind of run away. And in general, that team is tanky. You're very escapable. And on the other side, right, if you try to go in on something like Muffin Cutie's Morgana, he's going to Black Shield and Soul Shackles you. You go on Zuna, he jumps away. Smithy has an ultimate to dodge out. The only ganks that have really worked super well here were honestly the one mid push on a Man Cloud, and then just that one catch where X Hazard got baited into a brush.
Yeah, looking like Zuna might be a target here. They were looking towards the blue, but instead they're going to come around the back side. And Zuna now, it's very dangerous to dive a Jax on a turret. Is this going to be enough, though? Pobelta's going to come in there. The tank turret's going on towards NK. He needs to get out of there. He's got an Oracle he doesn't want to waste. Zuna goes down. And now that bottom lane, can they turn it around? Muffin Cutie tries to pop his ultimate, lands the dart, binding on towards Lemon God. Is it going to be enough damage? Remember, the turret already down there. Afromu, though, exhausted. They're going to turn it back on towards Afromu. Has to flash out there. Cleanse was used out by Lemon God. Light Sludge trying to get onto him. Meanwhile, at the top, Smithy gets taken down. Ace in the hole comes in towards the backside of Muffin Cutie, uses the Black Shield to block out, and very nicely done there. Meanwhile, at the top, Mandatory Cloud now comes back in there. Hasn't got enough. They all have to back off. Meat Playground doing work across the map.
Oh man, that was a great series of fights for them. Light Sledge had to burn the 90 caliber net and the flash, but that's all it took to outrange the Morgana. And then the Dark Binding, it only hit Lulu. You can't focus a support in a 2-on-2 lane. You'll just get killed by the AD carry. Aftermoon not able to stop down Light Sledge. That range advantage finally worked for them. You're seeing how difficult these fights now are for Fear. The early laning, Meat Playground didn't go for any harassment, but you're seeing these fights now. You're seeing Caitlyn now with a minion kill advantage. You're seeing her winning the fights as well.
Twitch having to use his ultimate there to clear that wave and keep them away from that turret. So it is 3-1 in turrets, 5-1 in kills, 3k gold advantage. Meat Playground currently with the lead after really what was a pretty good start by Fear. So NK Inc. picking up the red buff. Let's have a look across. Blue buff is now being picked up by Mandatory Cloud. He's going to come across and have that away. How are the builds working across the board? You can see that Rise in that mid lane. Pobelter has got the Abyssal Scepter, he's got the Glacial Shroud, he's got the Tear of the Goddess, he's got a lot of mana, a lot of cooldowns. He's in a good position right now.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't really stop a Rise. He gets all the items he really wants. He's got a big mana stack, he's got armor and magic resist, which when he spell them to his ultimate is going to make him crazy tanky. Pobelter's got pretty much the perfect build right here. He is happy with everything he's got. Hazard, giant tank, we saw that earlier, tower dive. Chain Vest and the Giant's Belt made him tank the turret for like 7 shots and not care. You're seeing Light Sludge already finishing an Infinity Edge. As far as item pacing is going, Meat Playground's got big ticket items on 3 main champions.
Yeah, I feel they're going to be looking to make a fight happen here. Boots of Mobility also on Lee Sin, so he's going to be zipping around the map. He has been for a while. Sunfire Cape completed as well. So mandatory X-Hazard, feeling very tanky. And there you go, the ping goes down mid lane. Oh, but X-Hazard unfortunately is stood on top of a ward. Pretty much given away by Mandatory Cloud firing off that Crescent Sweep at him. Strike. Crescent Sweep is in Zao, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Too many names in this game. Mandatory Cloud clearing out the wave, and that's what they're going to do. They just got to make sure they don't get caught up lane. Looking like Fear grouping up a little bit here in the mid lane, realizing that Meat Playground may be in that position where they want to force the fight. They have got Light Sludge already in the mid lane, trying to catch a Dark Binding on towards Pobelter. Something to dive on. While Hazard was not in lane. Instead, Dragon is due shortly, I believe. And that's why Meat Playground starting to gather up, trying to cover off any positions that possibly Fear could go for. And honestly, I'm not sure Fear want this fight right now.
Well, they've just sent Afremu back to base. He's just picked up Infinity Edge. This is the first time where they'll have their real 5-on-5 happen. So that this next fight, I think, can go so well for Fear. And to me, I think they want to test the waters. You know, we talked about this in Champion Select, where Fear is like an R-button comp. They want to fight a 5-on-5, and these ganks have constantly worked for Meat Playground. So Fear needs to turn this one around, make team fights happen. Dragon's the best time for it. They're gonna have it timed. They had a ward coverage of it last time. Fear is going to have to stop them on this.
So here we go. You can see them all stacking up Meat Playground. If you just pan the screen down, you can see Muffin Cutie comes down, puts the pink ward down, actually. And Smithy's going to go straight in. He's going to try and put that axe down. Might get caught out. He's actually split off from the team. He should be fine. He's going to have to try and use his Ragnarok, but the rest of the team do jump in. There's the Lulu Auto. His Pobelter seems to be the target, but the damage from Pobelter is so strong once they all gather up there. Pobelter finally does go down. Smithy manages to take him down. Mandatory Cloud taken down very low. Looking across the side. Muffin Cutie gets his ultimate off. Manages to land on towards Lemon God and X-Hazard. Lemon God goes down. NK Inc is taken down. I'm just trying to see who else has gone down. It is Mandatory Cloud. It's a 2-for-2 right now. Very close. Smithy taken low. Dark Binding lands on towards NK, but X-Hazard is still in there. Afremu is going to be so squishy. They do catch out, and it was a 3-for-2 exchange. Meat Playground taken very low. The poison tick on NK was so close as well. But they threw everything they could at Pobelter, but he managed to dump out all of his damage. So effectively, he was just on cooldowns when he died.
Yeah, and the difficult thing there was Fear somehow wasn't quite in position because half of that team dove in really hard, and Afremu wasn't available to fight that. The props we have to go to X-Hazard, who saved Unstoppable Force until Afremu finally did show up in the fight. And as soon as he did, Afremu got dropped down, could not use Spray and Pray. He didn't have Black Shield available to shield him out from that. And so, you know, the big sort of cornerstone of this composition for Fear is a Black Shielded Afremu killing everything, and they didn't get it.
And they didn't manage to land it. Smithy did manage to get through them. He was the man that was caught out. I guess it was kind of, that was their aim, but yeah, like you mentioned, there's just that positioning around the bush was very hard. Around the trees, sorry, the forest, jungle. Get my words out eventually.
Trees, good enough.
Trees work.
They were trees.
They were trees.
Still are.
Zuna still currently hasn't picked up that Trinity Force. He needs that. He needs the Trinity Force GA build, and then he's going to be happy. At the moment, he's not really in a position where he can just dive in that fight. He did manage to get in there, but he's still, you know, until he gets that Trinity Force, he's not going to have tons of damage.
No, he's not. The tons of damage it requires the Trinity Force. Jungle Teemo, get on my level, worth it. Teemo! I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you can tell the crowd is in today. It's starting to fill up in here. And
guys, the ward's going to die. Woo!
That's a dangerous precedence to start off. I can assure you, you know, I can attest to that one. As it stands, though, it is Meat Playground with the advantage currently, and Fear have their work cut out. But as you showed there, I mean, the item-wise was with Meat Playground. They had the damage, they had the items, so they should have won that fight, but it was still very, very close. So Fear, when they come into this next fight, Trinity Force now complete, Infinity Edge in there. Zhonya's Hourglass is going to be the next target as well. Is it going to be Zhonya's? What do you think? What is Diana going to be going for there?
Zhonya's is most likely. I'd say Zhonya's over GA at this point in the game. Guardian Angel is probably a 5th or 6th item pickup for her. But this makes a lot of sense for Fear. There's not... I want to say there's not a lot of burst damage or persistent damage from Meat Playground, but Pobelter's doing so well that there's no easy answer to Meat Playground's damage. When he pops his ultimate, the entire team's going to take a bunch of burst, but then he's got so much cooldown reduction that in a general long-winded fight, he's still going to have really good DPS. So unless Pobelter dies, another ward goes down. Another ward goes down. We got Vuvuzelas in here.
We have got Vuvuzelas in here.
This is going to get loud. This is gonna be a fun weekend, first of all.
But look at the item stacking. I mean, they are being clever about this one. Fear are so heavy as an armor attack damage team. The armor stacking coming out from Meat Playground is huge. Randy and Zoman on X-Hazard as like he needs it. Aegis and Legion, of course, on towards NKing. You can see Frozen Heart, of course, standard build actually for Pobelter. So, countering each other with the standard builds. And they are so strong, so tanky. Another ward goes. I told you this was a dangerous thing to do.
It's okay. No, it's better this way.
Oh, God, here we go again.
Will he get it? It's down to 1 health. Muffin Cutie with the ward kill. D-Man can't keep a straight face.
Oh, I've been through this too many times. God.
Oh, he almost missed it. Will the ward get away? It's trying to run as fast as it can. No! 25 gold picked up. Muffin Cutie on the scoreboard here. 8 minion kills. At least 2 of those are wards.
Are you trying to suggest he almost did a St. Vicious?
He was about to. There's a dark finding on that
they're diving in towards this one. Zuna's going to try and start this fight off. X-Hazard is off at the top there. Smith is keeping him busy. Pobelter now the target. They managed to find out towards Pobelter. The Lulu ultimate use, popping them all up in the air. Mandatory Cloud taking out very low. The ultimate coming out from Muffin Cutie is not going to be enough because he's taken down before he goes off. Pobelter finally gets dropped down. Lemon got taken so low, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the team have been executed. And Meat Playground doing the work. Get an ace. They're going to start the Baron. They are very low, but they're going to go Baron because they've got it all to do.
They should be able to do this. Lemon God and Light Sledge won't take much damage. I take that back. Lemon God's got to run away at this point. But NK Inc. has got so many shields. He's constantly dashing back in, trying to lifesteal back up. It's going to do it. They're going to get this Baron completely uncontested. 4 men have Baron. Meat Playground doing great.
Oh my word. The ward gets killed at the end as well. So Meat Playground going to turn this one in. They're going to get a stack pushed in towards the bottom lane, the mid lane. They are just covering off all the lanes, back off by. They've all got chunks of gold as well. They've just picked up a whole bunch of kills. They may even be able to get towards that turret. Hazard is he tanking that?
Yeah.
He is tanking.
His shield just now broke at the 4th turret shot.
I mean, he's fine because he's got Randians and he's got the Sunfire Cape. So honestly, look at it. It's just doing nothing to him. He's just chilling while the minions do all the work. Zuna finally returns, and they're all going to back and buy. So that has put them in a huge strength position. Phantom Dancer completed. I think bought flat out. I know he had the Zeal already. Bought by Caitlyn, so Light Sludge looking very strong. What are Fear going to have to do to get out of this situation?
Fear, I feel like they need specifically a Guardian Angel on Zuna, because until then he's actually dying very, very fast. And you talked earlier about the physical damage heavy Fear team and how everyone on Meat Playground is stacking a bunch of armor, Frozen Heart randos, etc. They don't have that same kind of counteraction here for Fear. Fear's got, on Zuna, it's Merc Treads and a Null Magic Mantle. You're not going to survive Rise with those 2 items. And the only one who's got remotely any magic resist is Diana Mancloud, who's still dying anyway. No one's really all that tanky on this lineup, and that's really the big difference here, where Hazard's able to initiate in and just face tank Afremu and just do fine. Pobelter, he gets dived on, but he's also tanky, right? Nothing's going to burst down the Meat Playground team, and the only guy who can break through tanks successfully here is Afremu, and he's getting jumped on by Malphite.
Well, I think Meat Playground have just been back and bought 13 wards, so I think they want you guys to keep on cheering. So I'm just trying to count them, actually. Can't quite make them out there. 13-4, though, is the score, and Meat Playground doing work. Still only 3-2 in turrets there. You can see NK Inc. coming around. Oh, you did that on purpose.
Thanks, Lycaeus.
Yeah, just trolling you guys. Make sure you didn't get to see it, but the ward did go down. We are aware of it, so they can push. Have they got enough to dive on the turret here?
They don't have to dive on the turret. They've got a Caitlyn who's going to be super, super safe at all times. NK's actually watching for the flank on the side, and you'll just see Caitlyn and Lulu able to put out damage from very, very far away. Whenever they see a black shielded Diana, they'll be a little bit more afraid because she can initiate quite strongly. But you have such a long range here, this turret will just fall in like the next 1 or 2 waves.
But Diana is so far behind at the moment. He's only got the Sorcerer's Boots, the Abyssal Scepter, and just the armor. There's no Zhonya's in there. They want the Zhonya. You can see saving up for it. 1,800 gold on him, trying desperately to get that Zhonya's. But as it is, he fell so far behind Pobelta doing work. And that's going to be the middle turret going down. The inner turret will be dropping. And Meat Playground pushing in towards the base, on towards the inhibitor turrets now. Are they going to rotate around? They've got the 2 stacks not that well pushed either side. So this is really the only goal they can go for with this Baron buff. They can get damage down onto it. You can see Mandatory Cloud trying to do as much as he can to keep them away. But they just can't poke it out.
No, they'll be happy to keep trying here on Meat Playground. They've still got a lot of time left on Baron. 1 minute left. Ward going down, NK Inc. keeping them blind. And that's all they need to do really is you know, constantly blind Fear so they can steal the jungle away, steal blue buff, which is up, dragon, which is up. But while they have Baron, they've got an easy chance of getting these turrets.
You guys are going to get tired of that. I can assure you this could go on for a long while. Meanwhile, it is they can see try and turn it around, and again they get poking there. Manage to take the turret down, another 500 hit points. Slowly but surely grinding it down. Now the top wave is starting to push itself, so they're going to rotate around up to there, warding out the whole jungle as they go, giving every bit of vision. Pobelta's going to be the one that picks it up. Pobelta's actually not going to take the blue buff. They're going to give the blue buff, I think, to X-Hazard to try and keep that unstoppable force up and a strength in it. Fear kind of half-heartedly defending this one. There's only 3 members there. Afromu's not even there, so this is a dangerous, dangerous situation for Fear. Got to be careful they don't get caught out. One single ulti from X-Hazard. You can see they're going to die for it. There's the unstoppable force straight on towards it, just popping them in there. A huge X-Hazard there as Lulu Ultimate pops, just drops Mandatory Cloud while he was stood still, just deleted from the map. Didn't have a chance there. And they quickly spotted that it was a 4v5.
Yeah, it was a really, really good call right there. And they're going to go in again for this one.
Straight in towards it. Smithy's going to be the target. Muffin Cutie's taken down very low. NK following towards Aframu. Aframu is getting kept out of this fight. Zuna's now being taken down. Pobelta just wrecking towards through the whole team. He's going to catch on towards it. There's the prison on towards Muffin Cutie. Gets finished off. X-Hazard comes in. Pobelta picks up a double kill. And the rest of the team are destroyed. The inhibitor going down. They can rotate straight around because that mid stack, we've already seen it actually. It can be tanked out by X-Hazard. He's quite happy to tank these turrets. He can take a lot of damage from that turret. If you're going to get the Nexus turret, this could well be the game.
Yeah, they've got complete control here. The minion wave flooded in. This Nexus is absolutely theirs. Meat Playground's got to get this one. Even the surrender comes out. Meat Playground in the consolation bracket, winning their first game and going up